I'm filming here on the S5IIx, and along with the S5II, S9, G9II and GH7, it got a massive feature upgrade. Imagine being able to check skin tones, white balance and all of the exposure levels right on your camera screen just with the press of a button. Sounds impossible? Let me show you how. I've created a set of powerful real-time LUTs, and guess what? I'm giving them away for free to you. I spent several weeks to design those LUTs, so they work perfectly with the Lumix cameras and their screens, and they're yours to download right now. The link is in the description below. With these real-time LUTs, you can quickly switch from the vlog view to a SkinTone Checker, a WhiteBalance Checker or a FalseColor Checker, just with the press of a button. Just go to the description of my video and click on the link Download LUTs. Select any amount you want, like $0 or more. Then unzip the file on your computer. Take the SD card of your camera, plug it into your PC and copy the LUT files to the SD card into the root folder, directly under the drive letter. Ensure that you safely remove the SD card to confirm that the files are properly copied. Now you go to the LUT library and import the LUTs you want to use by loading them from the SD card. This will copy them from the SD card to the camera's memory. If you go to the picture profile and select real-time LUT, you can change the LUT that is being used by pressing the AF mode button. After you selected the LUT, make sure to click set, so the LUT is being applied. So now let's set the button so we can change to the real-time LUT just with the press of a button. So go into the menu, to the wheel, to the half wheel with the arrow to the left, to page 1 to FN button set, there into rec mode, and there I select then my button. So this here is the exposure compensation button that I want to change, and I select here photo style. I press OK and I select then down here real-time LUT, and then I press OK, set. I go out of the menu and now it's applied. You see no vlog on the top left. If I press this button, I'm in the LUT view. Now you can change the LUT that is being applied by going to the photo style, and you go down and with left and right you can disable or enable the LUT, and with the focus AF mode button you can change then the LUT. So if I press on it, I can select them instead of skin basic, false color for example. Then I have to press set to apply it. If you go back, it's not applied. And now you can see I have false color. Now let me explain how these LUTs work. The SkinTone LUTs are inspired by Kaurh Hendrikson's SkinTone Checker for DaVinci Resolve. This SkinTone Checker is optimal for working in DaVinci Resolve and adjusting skin tones to optimize them. You can download his SkinTone Checker with the link in the description below from his website. For my LUTs, I had to create them from scratch and optimize them for Lumix cameras, since they only support up to 33-point LUTs. For the SkinTone LUTs, you have 4 different LUTs. You have a basic one which makes everything that is skin color yellow, everything that's skin color but to red is then being red, and everything that's to green or yellow is being marked as blue. I did a lot of tweaking, and using these colors was the best result that I could achieve. Then for the skin extended colors, you have then a dark red for skin tones that are even too red, and then you have a dark blue for skin tones that are much too green, so you can better find your way and see where your skin tones are. Then there's a LUT for skin tones that are bright or brightly lit, and that takes in the exposure for where the skin tones should sit. So you can optimize your exposure, and if the skin tones are too dark, then they will become black and white, and if they are too bright, they will become white. And I did the same for skin tones that are darker or scenes that are darker, so you can perfectly match the exposure of your skin tones. So now let's adjust the colors for the skin. So I go here into the menu, to my LUT. I'm in vlog mode, so I have to switch first to the real-time LUT. I go down to the LUT, I press the AF button, and then I select the color the LUT I want to have. For example, the skin basic one. I can put my arm in front so I somehow see the screen. I press set to apply it. Now you see here we have a little bit red in it. So I go to the white balance. I have here the house white balance, which is of course not perfect.
And you can also do it with drag and drop. You can see I can make it more yellow. But also you have to be careful that it doesn't become black and white, then there's no more skin. So I go here to the top right corner, which will give it of course a very extreme color cast, but let's see how it looks like. Looks actually okay. Then we can do the same with different LUTs. So I go again to the RealTime LUT. I go down here, and now I choose the skin extent, which will make things that are too red, dark red. So you have no normal red, dark red, normal blue and dark blue. Now if I go to the white balance and I reset it with the display key, you see it's like a little bit extreme red. If I go here to the very red, you see maybe some dark red here. In the background you see some dark red. Now let's have a look at another LUT for the skin. So here I choose the skin tone bright. I press set to apply it. Now you see there's nothing really applied. Let's first go to the cloud profile to have a good standard profile, and now let's increase the brightness. Now you can see how my arm becomes colored. If I adjust the ISO too much, it becomes white. So kind of like this is where my skin tones should kind of sit for the brightness, for the ISO. Let's choose the native base ISO 4000. And then let's go to the white balance and let's see which one fits better. So that's pretty greenish, doesn't help. Let's see if I can move it around. I can move it a bit, but it becomes then more red. So you have to find here your compromise. Kind of this could work a little bit. It makes it a little bit red. And of course the background changes now too. So you will have a red cast in the background. That's something you have to keep in mind. But if you are focusing on skin tones, it could be fine. Now I switch back to the vlog view and you see the skin tones, they look actually pretty good.
Let's have a look at my face. Let's see, so this is kind of like how my face looks with the LUT enabled. And let's disable it. So that's how I look without the LUT. So the next real-time LUT is for FalseColor and is marking all the exposure levels of your screen with different colors. This means you can perfectly see where you have things that are underexposed or overexposed, and you can better adjust your exposure. So with the FalseColor you have the exposure levels as different colors, and it allows you to quickly see what is very bright and very dark in your image. So when I adjust the ISO here, you can see how the colors change and everything becomes red and pink, which is like more the bright spectrum. If I go down, you can see how things become more darker, like very dark pink, which is then, for example, areas where I could have more noise. And the skin colors, they're mostly in the yellow greenish area. The last two LUTs are for optimizing your white balance on the go. Of course, a gray card is perfect, and you would also choose, depending on the weather, the perfect white balance, like choose the more cloudy setting or the sunny setting. However, you might have artificial light sources, or you might use an ND filter and you might need to adjust your white balance a little bit more perfectly, but also very quickly. With this LUT, you can point your camera to a surface or to something that has very low saturation and is close to white. You can then adjust the color and see in which direction the color goes. If the color is, for example, too yellow, you will see that this LUT shows the surface as yellow. If it's too red, it's too red. If it's too blue, and if it's perfectly white, it's black. So you can go then into your menu of your white balance setting and adjust in very fine steps your white balance, and just by looking at your camera screen, you can nail it then perfectly. So now let's say you are filming somewhere and you want to adjust your white balance very quickly, and you want to adjust the white balance to the light source. So for this, I'm switching the LUT that I'm using. I'm pressing the AF button. I choose here white cast. You can also choose white cast narrow. And I press set, and then I go out. Now you see this area here is a little bit white. So first I reset this here and I'm gonna check which of the color profiles match best. You see this pillar here is actually black. This is because it's perfectly white. So if it's not white, you see a color cast. So let's switch the LUT to white cast narrow. This narrows it even more. And as you can see, you don't see anything. It's pitch black, which means our color is perfect. So if I choose, for example, the house, it says it's too yellow. If I go now more to the bluish area, it becomes darker and black. And if I switch now from the RealTime LUT to my normal Vlog view, you see it's perfectly white. If I go now back to the white balance and I reset it, it's not so white, but it's actually really hard to see on the display. And that's something where these LUTs help, like those things like these slight color casts on the white or also the change on the skin color. It's like so hard to see on the display on your camera. You can only see it then in post and then you might regret it. And here you can adjust it perfectly while you're filming. So personally, for my work, I really like the RealTime LUT for skin colors because I can just press a button, quickly check for 1 second the skin colors, press again the button and I'm back in Vlog and I can continue shooting. So it's like super quick to check the skin color just to make sure if everything is correct. If you film, for example, somewhere indoors, the light can reflect different and you can have a cast. If you have an artificial light source, for example, a light source that you don't control, then it could also create a color cast and you might not want this. With all these LUTs, you can of course achieve a very scientific and accurate result of your colors. But besides this very accurate and scientific perspective, you also have to evaluate the artistic perspective when filming. So if you have a subject that is standing next to a red neon light, you of course want to have the colors be more red and not neutral. So it's your decision to choose when you want to have perfect skin colors, perfect overall colors, or when you want to make an artistic statement. I hope these LUTs help you and download them in the link below. They're free for you to use. Leave a like on the video if you liked it and see you in the next awesome video.